G'day geeks, Chris here, and Happy New Year if it's not too late to say that. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a holiday if you managed to do that. It's very hot here in Perth. It's currently 25 degrees Celsius I think, and it's not even 7 o'clock yet, and it's about to get into the high 30s. It's always hot around Christmas and New Year time, so I thought I'd record this before it gets even hotter. So this is going to be part 2 of my toy room tour. As you can see, there's quite a few things to get through. We won't get through all of it, but we will do our best. And I hope you all enjoyed the Stranger Things finale as well. I did. It was quite emotionally satisfying, I must say. But anyway, let's get into some of the stuff behind me in part 2 of my toy room tour. I think Thanos is okay with that. So I do recommend checking out part 1 of my toy room tour if you haven't seen that already. But here's just another quick kind of look. We'll get through all of this stuff, but not in this video because there's quite a lot of stuff to get through. So today we're just going to focus on one of the shelves in particular. I covered the stuff on the top of this shelf at the last video, but today we're just going to look at this video in particular. So this is my kind of 70s sci-fi shelf. So at the front we've got Luke Skywalker from the Black Series that's in his flight suit. There's a black suit Spider-Man hanging out there. Got a Transformers, that's actually one of my vintage Transformers, one of the ones that survived. Got a Voltron figure and a little Predator there. This is from the 1986 Coleco Starcom line, and these are awesome figures. They are rare in that they're magnet activated, so no batteries or anything, so they'll last a lifetime. So all these little space dudes have magnets on their feet, and the little vehicles are activated by magnets, so you just place them on particular platforms. But yes, as is the worry, I guess, with a lot of the white plastic from the 80s, kind of turns yellow over time, and you can see that's certainly the case there, but that's okay. Got a great Darth Vader head in the background and a Super 7 reaction line of Iron Giant. Great animated movie. A cheap plastic Godzilla. I think that spaceship there is from the Buzz Lightyear movie. Not a great movie necessarily, but a good sci-fi designs. That Earth Invaders LCD computer game still works. I had that as a kid, not that particular one, but I found a cheap one on eBay. And here is some Star Wars stuff. So we've got a whole collection of kind of more vintage, really, Star Wars figures. So we've got the Han Solo, I think he's from the Power of the Force, and that's Weequay, is that his name? Greedo, so they're vintage figures, as is Luke in his Hoth outfit. And I think the only figure here that is of mine is the Ewok in the back, that grey one. Low Grey, was that his name? I can't remember. I had a Chewie as a kid as well, and a few other vintage figures, but not a whole bunch of Star Wars figures. So yes, there's a small collection of new and retro kind of Star Wars figures. We've got a Miles in the kind of cool mech suit from Avatar there, from McFarlane Toys. Got a Millennium Falcon. That little dwarf guy is from Shadowrun. So I used to play Shadowrun, which is an RPG role-playing game back in the 90s, and yes, they didn't make a whole lot of action figures for them, but that was a pretty cool one. The guy next to him is Adam Power from Revell's Power Lords line in the 80s, which are coming back, I think, from Nacelle, which is fantastic. Yes, the gimmick with them is this guy in particular, he had a button on his belt which doesn't work and at the moment, and he would flip, so on the other side he's like got a blue alien kind of guy, but he's the good guy leader. That big chunky red guy is a Space Marine from the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and that's from McFarlane Toys. Very chunky figure. I used to play Warhammer 40,000 as well, and Dungeons Dragons and Shadowrun in the 90s when I was a teenager. That white figure there is a Force Commander from Mego's Micronauts line from 1977. Again, I had him as a kid, not that particular one, but I found it cheap on eBay. And they're pretty cool. They've got firing rockets. I think he might actually be complete, which is great. And his limbs are magnetic and removable which is a nice little gimmick. Yeah, we've got Ripley from Alien and another Alien figure at the back there. I like all the Alien films apart from the AVP films and the Prometheus and Covenant, but yes, Alien Resurrection with the basketball as well. I think that's from NECA. We've got I think that's a Funko Xenomorph. We've got an Ordo 66 from Star Wars Hasbro. We've got a Pac-Man video game there in the background, and just a few other bits and pieces like this little guy Tyrannid, again from Warhammer 40,000 game. And I don't know what this was called, but I got this from Kmart a few years ago. It glows in the dark, it's powerful, but they were like blind boxes. I think they were like $10 each. You'd open up these crates and there'd be different vehicles, whatever, inside. I can't remember what they were called, but relatively new, came out in the last couple of years. But yeah, pretty awesome. And then scattered around, I've got stickers like Star Trek, E.T., Ren and Stimpy, Superman, and I've got a retro Kenner Spider-Man figure there as well, which are pretty cool. I wish they made more of those, but yeah, there's a bit of my 70s sci-fi focused shelf. This is my Marvel shelf, so very colourful, isn't it? So we've got Spider-Man 2099 hanging out there. We've got this awesome gift from my Dungeon Master, which is from the Iron Man 3 film. We've got the Scarlet Spider hanging out there, Professor X. And Rom is pretty cool, very obscure kind of 70s, 80s character. Very happy that they made him. Got Hawkeye and Wolverine from Old Man Logan. And right at the back, you can see that we've got some retro carded Spider-Man figures, so from the Spider-Man animated series. We got Peter Parker with his cool half face, alternate head. Kane, which is like a anti-hero clone of Spider-Man. And then we've got a couple of X-Men figures, Longshot, Cyclops in his cool blue and white outfit. And we've got also Fantastic Four animated, High Evolutionary, and a 90s Generation X skin figure. And we've got Maestro. Definitely read Future Imperfect if you want to see an evil future Hulk. Chunky Hulkbuster Iron Man outfit, and just a few other, Wonder Man and Iron Man, Gambit, Shatterstar, X-Man, Crystar as well, which is pretty cool. Thunderstrike, Rogue from the Age of Apocalypse, as well as Sunfire. So, and Cannonball is hiding out there as well. And yeah, so quite a few different figures in my lovely, colourful Marvel shelf. Also back there is Marrow, the lady with the bones coming out of her body, which she uses as weapons, which is cool mutant power, standing next to Cannonball from the X-Force there. So yes, Marrow was one of the characters in the 90s X-Men when I was reading the comics. And I should also mention this cool Marvel focused bar mat, which you can get from Aldi, and that's a perfect shelf for these display shelves, which I got, I think, from Bunnings. So yes, that's pretty awesome. So that really ties the Marvel shelf together. Moving down to the third shelf, there's my 11 from season 1, Stranger Things Christmas ornament. How good was the finale? I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm glad not too many characters were killed off and stuff, but yeah, I found it quite satisfying, and yeah, I did cry, that's okay, we all may cry as well. So yeah, this is another very colourful shelf, and we've got kind of more, I guess, kind of 80s, 90s cartoon kind of focused, which is cool. So at the back we've got the Tick figure on card. We've got Ash, which is a very obscure 90s hero from Event Comics created by Joe Quesada, who went on to be the head of Marvel for a few years, and Jimmy Palmiotti. Here we've got McFarlane Toys Superpowers line, which are modelled after the Kenner 80s figures, and they come, no accessories, limited articulation, but pretty cool. And we've also got the Goon from the Long Box Heroes line. A couple of Labyrinth figures. I love Labyrinth. It's one of my favourite films. Savage Dragon, Madman, Dick Tracy. There's a couple of blind boxes which are pretty awesome. Van Helsing and Dracula. Got a Ren and Stimpy from the space episode. Last Ronin, standing in front of a sealed 1990, I think, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles calendar. But The Last Ronin is a definite recommended read, or it's a more future set dark Ninja Turtles world. We've got Lone Ranger and Scott Pilgrim. I love the movie, love the comics, the video games, it's awesome. Indiana Jones, and at the back we've got a couple of retro carded Ninja Turtles figures, as well as from the movie, Casey Jones and Raphael, my favourite Ninja Turtles. So there we go, that's kind of my 80s, 90s focus shelf. And also I should point out, this fella, I got him I think for 50 cents, like probably 4 or 5 years ago from an op shop. I recognise it straight away. That is a Ninja Turtles from the Ninja Turtles 1990 movie. That was when they were first, in the flashback scene, they first mutated. But yeah, that is an awesome film, the first live action Ninja Turtles film, and the puppets and all that animatronics still hold up today. And that guy right there is one of the bad guys from, come on camera, go the other way, is from Big Trouble in Little China, which I actually watched again recently. Not a lot of merchandise from that, but again, that's from the Super 7 reaction line. Another colourful shelf. This is focused on Superpowers. So Superpowers was a line from the 80s made by Kenner, very popular, and the influence is still held today. As I said, if we go up the shelf we can see some of the McFarlane Toys figures that I just mentioned, and so those continue here, plus with a couple of vintage figures. So the Superman is vintage, and the Dr. Fate, and there's a Superman cup holder in the back there, and a Superpowers lunchbox. Got the McFarlane Toys Supermobile, which is very odd, and a few other figures. So these 4 in the back here are from DC Universe Classics, and they are the more obscure characters from the Superpowers line. So we've got Black Falcon, El Dorado, I think, what's his name, Samurai, and Golden Pharaoh, I believe, and there we've got Green Lantern and Lex Luthor from McFarlane Toys Super Friends line. And yeah, we've got Mantis in the back, and Brainiac and Desaad, also from the DC Universe Classics line, I believe, and a Darkseid in the back there. So I love Superpowers, very nostalgic for a lot of people, and obviously apart from the Kenner Superpowers line of action figures, there was also the Super Friends and Superpowers and Galactic Guardians, the cartoon in the 80s, so they definitely deserve their own shelf. And here's a little Super 7 Silverhawks figure. There's always something that I forget to mention, but yes, that's pretty cool. That's from Super 7's Silverhawks line. But there we go, so there's some of the stuff that we've looked at today. Quite a lot, as you can imagine, but there's more to get through. I hope you enjoyed this little part 2 of the Toy Room Tour. Probably do parts 3 and part 4 potentially, but I don't want to make it an hour-long video. So I just thought I'd do a shorter one for now, but hopefully you enjoyed what you saw, and yeah, perhaps you have some of these figures, or perhaps you are hunting some of them as well. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Do the thumbs up and the bells and all that kind of stuff that YouTube wants us to do, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye, geeks.